Ma'am, I have a doubt from short run PC.
Short run PC, short run perfect competition.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just a minute. So for that I have to open my. Do you need that uh, slides?
No, I
Okay,
actually,
okay, okay, okay. Just ask, ask.
ma'am, when the wage rate is rising along with rise in the commodity price and the MC curve is shifting upwards, ma'am, why
Oh, so you
isn't
are
the
asking from, just a minute. You are asking from input market.
no commodity market
Okay, continue.
when the MC curve shifts upwards, no?
Okay, fine.
Huh. So, ma'am, why isn't the supply curve also shifting upwards, market supply curve? Instead, why is it becoming inelastic? Because MC curve is itself the supply curve. So, why will it not shift upwards?
From where you get that information that your
Ma'am,
MC curve is.
Pindike chapter 7. Pindike
Okay.
chapter 7. Yes, ma'am. Like when the
This is short
commodity
run.
price, yes, ma'am.
Just tell me. Yes. Just tell me.
When the commodity price increases along with the increase in the wage rate, then the sh- MC curve shifts upwards and the market supply curve becomes relatively inelastic. So my question is, does it become relatively inelastic? Why doesn't it shift upwards? Because MC curve is itself the supply curve.
Yes, but what they are talking, no, actually here your MC, okay, fine. The MC, the supply is what? Supply is the price, is a relationship between price of the commodity and the quantity supplied. Okay, that is what the supply curve is showing to you. Now, when the price is changing, look, when the wage is increasing, then the price of the commodity is also increasing, right? And that is why your marginal cost has increased. So as it is the change in price of the commodity, so it should be the movement along your supply curve. Now, how you are moving along the supply curve? Initially, whatever quantity you could supply, now you cannot supply that much. Your price has increased, but you cannot supply that much of commodity which you did before. Why? Because the wage rate has increased. So that means if it's like this, just a minute, it's like this. Let me use just a minute, just a minute. Sure, I understand your problem. Look, it's like this. Huh? This is the axis. You have the supply curve initially. This is your supply curve. On the vertical axis, you are measuring the price, and on the horizontal axis, you are measuring the quantity. Fine. Now your wage has increased. So cost of production has increased. Now when this is, so you have to charge more price for that. Okay. Now if price is increased, you should increase your supply, right? You should increase your supply. If price is increased to this one, then you should increase your supply to that level, but you cannot. Why? Because your cost of production has increased. So you have increased your supply, but not to that extent. If there was no change in wage, okay, as wage is increased, your supply is increased, but not to the full extent. Then how to show this? It will be like this. আবার সেটা, so it is like this, right? So this is how they are measuring that you can increase your supply to that level, this one, but you cannot do that. Why? Because your wage rate has increased, your cost of production has increased, so you cannot produce to that much. So you have increased, but not to that level. So the supply curve is steeper. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, but ma'am, still, like we learned now that MC curve is itself the supply curve, no? So
Yes,
when MC
MC
curve
curve
is,
is the supply curve of a firm.
yes, ma'am.
But it is the case of the market. So what happened? Look, what happened when the MC has increased, the supply curve of that firm has shifted to the right, to the left. Okay. When the
Yes,
MC
ma'am.
of a particular farm has increased, the supply curve of that particular farm has shifted to the left. But the market supply is the
Okay,
horizontal
okay, okay,
summation of
okay.
subs. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I think this is okay. Okay, I will again repeat that perfect competition. I have a revision on production and I did a revision on cost, and I will revise perfect competition definitely. But before that, I will finish my input market discussion. Then I will go back to the perfect competition, commodity market, and input market again. So I will revise. If you have any query from perfect competition, just wait. I will revise. Now we have stopped here, huh? So before that, what we did, okay, just let me revise a bit. This is what we did. We just introduced the concept of derived demand. Then we said the marginal revenue product. What is marginal revenue product? All of you know now that it is the marginal product, is a product of marginal revenue and marginal product of labor. Okay, MR and MPL. So this is how you are getting your MRPL, and MRPL is nothing but the demand curve. And if it is the perfect competition, then your MRPL curve is the green one. And if it is imperfect competition, then your MRPL curve is the red one, because you have to replace your MR by P. And what is P? P is your average revenue. So average revenue is always greater than marginal revenue. That is why for perfectly competitive market, the demand for the labor is greater for a particular wage as compared to the imperfect competition. And in this session, we are only concerned about the perfectly competitive market structure. Okay, so we are concerned about that green line. Now, if you have the demand curve, then we are just assuming for simplicity that, okay, the supply is perfectly elastic. Okay, so you have your supply curve, which is parallel to the horizontal axis. You have your downward sloping demand curve, which is your MRPL curve. Then you are getting the equilibrium in the labor market and the corresponding wage and the labor employment. Okay, this is how you can get the labor market equilibrium. So this is what is the condition of the labor market equilibrium. MRPL is equal to W. Demand is equal to supply. Simple. Now shifting of the labor supply curve. If the labor supply curve has shifted downward, okay, that means supply falls. Then what will happen with the equilibrium? Your demand is fixed, your supply is falling, so your wage rate will fall with increase in labor employment. Okay, if obviously if there is perfectly elastic supply curve. So this will happen if there will be a shift of the labor supply curve. That much we have discussed. So today we are going to discuss this one, where we assume that not only the labor, other than labor, another input is also variable. That means it's a sort of long run. Okay, then what will be the demand curve for labor? Now look what is happening. Initially your equilibrium is A. That means your MRPL curve is MRPL 1. Fine. So initially your marginal revenue product or your demand curve is MRPL 1, which is this one. Fine. And the wage rate was 20. So your equilibrium is at A. At A you are employing this much of labor. Fine. Now due to some reason the the wage rate falls. Okay, due to some reason, say there is a fall in the wage rate and it is falling from 20 to 15. Okay, now the wage rate is 15. Now given this wage rate, if you are facing the same demand curve for labor, then you are going to employ at the point B. That should be your equilibrium. But what will happen? When you are going to, when the wage rate is falling, you are going to employ more labor. That means the labor productivity is falling. Do you agree with me? Law of diminishing marginal productivity. Is that okay to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, so you are going to employ more labor. Why? Because wage rate is falling. Fine. So when you are employing more labor, marginal product is falling. জাস্ট আ মিনিট, হ্যাঁ। হ্যাঁ রে বল, হ্যাঁ রে বল, না 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 বল বল বল। না 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 না, শুধুমাত্র ওদের ওরা যে বোর্ড অফ স্টাডিজে ছিলেন, যেহেতু তোদের পিজি আছে, সেজন্য 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18 ওরা বোর্ড অফ স্টাডিজে আছেন, এইটুকুনি লেখা আছে, কোনো অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট কিন্তু নেই, এখনো অবধি নেই। যদি এখনো অবধি আমার কাছে কিন্তু মানে আমি লিখিনি আর কি, ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ। না তা দিবি, একদম দিবি না, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, যাতে যা যা দেওয়া আছে তারা তারা দিবি না, আর যেটা নেই সেটা যদি পারিস একটু জোগাড় করে দে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, 19-20টা তো কারোরই নেই, ওটা একটু দিস। হুম হুম, ঠিক আছে, হুম হুম হুম। আচ্ছা, come back. So here what I am saying, that wage rate is falling, so the labor employment is increasing. Very good. So I am going to employ more and more labor. That means the marginal productivity is falling. Okay. Now, when the marginal productivity is falling, then the producers are discouraged to employ that labor, that factor. Okay. So they are, what they are doing, they are replacing labor by capital. Okay. So the marginal, do you get my point? The marginal product of labor is falling. So the producers are now replacing labor by capital, because comparatively marginal product of capital is more. Now, when marginal product of capital is more and they are going to employ more capital now, they are going to employ more capital now. Up to this point, is it clear to you? Why they are employing more capital?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, fine. So they are going to employ more capital. Now, how they are employing capital? That means they are installing some sophisticated machines, technologies are coming up. In this way, they are using more capital. Okay. Now, when the sophisticated technologies or developed machines are coming, then the productivity of labor has automatically increased, right? Do you get my point?
Ma'am, repeat the last line, please.
Yes, I'm telling that when you are installing some sophisticated machines, some developed technologies you are using, then the existing laborers, their productivity has increased, because now they are getting more better technology. Is it
Yes,
clear?
ma'am.
Hmm. Just a minute. Yes. So marginal productivity, now come to the point. Marginal productivity of labor has increased. Why? Because you are using sophisticated technology, because there is a technological development in your factory, in your industry, right? So that is why marginal productivity has increased. Then how to show that increase in marginal productivity of labor? It will be a shift of the MRPL curve to the right. Is that okay? Not okay, na?
Ma'am, repeat the last line again,
Yes,
please.
yes, yes, yes. What I'm telling, that I am using sophisticated technology. I am using developed technology. So the labor of my factory, their productivity has increased. Now I am asking the things in the same, in some other way, that why my laborers marginal productivity has increased. This is
Because of
because,
improvement in technology.
yes, because of some factors outside the factory. They are coming now inside the factory. Okay, they are initially they are outside my factory, now they are installed in my factory. So then how to show that improvement of marginal productivity in this field? in this place. How to show increase in marginal productivity in this place? Your MR is constant, your marginal product has increased. So MR into MPL, that has increased, right? And that is because of some factor which is other than the productivity. So that is why it is a shifting of your MRPL curve from this dark line to the faded line. Now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you get my point? Why my marginal productivity curve, MRPL curve, has shifted from MRPL1 to MRPL2? This is because the marginal product of capital has increased, and that is why my marginal product of labor has increased. Okay. So anyway, we are now getting new MRPL curve, that is MRPL2. Okay. Now there is no MRPL1. Now there is only MRPL2. Now why that MRPL2 is coming? Because I can employ capital. I can use the concept of marginal product of capital. Okay, that is why. So that is why the heading is when all other inputs are variable. So here I can employ more capital. So my capital is also variable. Then only I can get MRPL. Then only I can shift from MRPL1 to MRPL2. Okay, so do you get my point? So now my demand curve is MRPL2 and my wage is 15. So given that new demand curve, this is the supply curve, as you know, that 15 is representing the supply curve of labor. So the equilibrium is C. So equilibrium is not B. So what happened actually, look, as I can change, I can employ more capital, I can change the factors as the other inputs are variable, I can employ more labor than before. Labor employment can be increased when all other inputs are variable. If they are not variable, then I have to employ at B. But as they are variable, other inputs are variable, I can employ at the point C. So employment of labor is increased. Is that okay? Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
okay? Huh? Okay, fine. So initially we have started from A, and after doing other inputs, variable and all, we are getting new equilibrium at C. So if we join these two equilibrium, that will be the new demand curve when other inputs are variable. Okay. When other inputs are variable, you can get this demand curve.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So this is the demand curve. Remember that is the demand curve. Yes, that green line is the demand curve when only labor is variable, and this BL is the demand curve when capital is also variable. Okay, so this is how you can get it. Don't worry, this is in Pin Dijk and Rubenfeld. So this is the demand curve for a factor when other inputs are variable. Okay. Now coming to that market demand curve, again concentrate in this diagram as well. This is not as the horizontal summation. This is not the horizontal summation what we did in case of the derivation of supply curve, in case of perfectly competitive market or and all. This is not the simple horizontal summation. Okay, just concentrate on the first diagram. First diagram is showing MRPL1 for a first producer. Okay, and this is the demand from the first producer. This is the demand curve for labor of the first producer, and this is the demand curve of labor for the second producer. Say there are two producers in the market, in the labor market, who are asking, who are there to employ the labor. Fine. So this is the demand for first producer, and this is the demand curve of the second producer. Now you can tell me, okay, just sum them, just make a horizontal summation, you will get the market demand for labor. No, that is not the right way. So what is that? Look, when the wage is 15, the first producer is demanding 100 and second producer is demanding something less than 100. Okay, now when the wage is falling to 10, then when the wage is falling to 10, then that is the demand of the first producer, that is 150, and the demand from the second producer is 120. So generally we can say, okay, then the market demand for labor should be 150 plus 120. But it is not the thing. Why? Because when the wage is falling, wage is what? Wage is the part of your cost, right? Cost of production. So when wage is falling, that means your cost of production is falling, right? So then your price of product is also falling, right? Because your price is based on your cost. So when cost of production is falling, you are reducing the price of your commodity. Because again, your concept is to capture the market and all this. You are actually the final commodity producer. Okay. So when the wage is falling from 15 to 10, the price of your commodity is also falling. I don't know from where to where it is falling, but it is falling. And as it is falling, your marginal revenue is falling. Right? Do you get my point? বুঝলে কি না? বুঝলে না? I
Ma'am, when
don't.
wage falls, our cost falls, so we reduce the price to
Yes,
capture
yes,
the
that
market.
is what I am telling. That is what I am telling. And
So
when,
does it, how does it, how is it shown in the diagram? Can you show that once?
yes, that is what is shown in your second diagram. Your marginal revenue is falling. That part is okay or not? Because your marginal revenue has a component of price.
Yes, ma'am.
So when the price of your final product is falling, your marginal product is falling. And what is your MRPL? MRPL is MR into MPL, right? So here there is no change of your MPL, but your MR is falling. So as your MR is falling, and this is true for all the producers. This is true for all the producers. It is not for a single producer. It is for all the producers. Okay. So their curve, their MRPL curve will shift inward.
Yes, ma'am.
Because MR is falling. Now that MR is working, MR is falling. So MRPL curve has shifted inward. So it is not that simple horizontal summation. Your wage is falling, labor employment must increase, but not to that level as you are expecting. Because your MR curve initially say your MRPL 1 is here, now your MRPL may be at MRPL 2. Is that okay? It is just shifted. The fast producers MRPL curve has shifted inward, and it is now on that MRPL2, and MRPL may be shifted again to the leftward. So if marginal revenue, that means the price of the commodity was constant, then that first producer is going to employ 150 units. But as the price of his commodity is falling, as his marginal revenue is falling, as his MRPL is shifting to the left, we may consider that, okay, that new MRPL is now MRPL2 for the first producer. So now he is going to employ 120, not 150. And as we are saying that is the MRPL of the second producer, fine, that MRPL2 may be shifted to MRPL3 somewhere to the left of MRPL2.
Okay.
So if you add that 150 plus 120, now it may be like 120 plus 100 or 120 plus 110. So for that wage, it is not that simple horizontal summation. You have to consider the shifting of your MRPL curve as well. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So what will happen? Look, initially, if MRPL is constant, that it is 100 and then 150. So it's like this. That is the look at this line. It is the horizontal summation. It is the horizontal summation of all individual demand curves. But as it is not like this, now the demand has shifted to here. So you are becoming a steeper now. For a particular change in wage, your labor employment is not to that extent as you are expecting. So it is something lesser. So it will be like L1. It is not L2. So if it is L1 and if you join that 15 L0 and 10 L1, then the line is steeper. That industry demand curve or the market demand curve is steeper than that simple horizontal summation. Is that diagram clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Acha. So now I am coming to the supply side. Tell me if you have any problem from this. Today I have discussed only two diagrams till now. This is the first diagram, that is the derivation of demand curve for a factor when all inputs are variable, and this is the second diagram, that is the market demand curve. All the pictures are from Pindyck and Rubenfeld. So these are there. And I am doing this because I know all of you have Pindyck and Rubenfeld in your home. So when you will open that chapter, it will be a bit easy for you to understand that, okay, that has been discussed in the class and the same thing is in my book. So if you read it once or twice, then it will be clear to you. That is why I am following Pindyck and Rubenfeld. Otherwise, I can take that picture. This picture is in any book. So I can take the picture from any of the books. I have few books in my home, but I'm not doing this. I'm following your textbook so that it will be easy for you to understand when you will open your own book in your home. This is the supply side. So let me discuss the supply. Okay, the supply of input. So before that diagram, we just assume the supply is perfectly elastic. Look, that was the supply curve. The shifting of supply curve, everything based on the assumption that supply is perfectly elastic. But it is not true always. In reality, it is not true always. You may not get unlimited amount of labor supply in the market at any point of time. So generally what is happened, this is the demand. Okay, this is the product, this is the market for the final product. This is the market for the final product. um yes, so this is the supply curve of the final commodity, this is the demand curve of the final commodity, and we are getting the price and all this. Now, what will happen? Here we need the concept of marginal expenditure and average expenditure. These are also in Pindyck and Rubenfeld. In my book, it is in chapter 10. There is a footnote in chapter 10 where they have derived, they have informed, that they have defined what is average expenditure, what is marginal expenditure, and the relation and the mathematical form of the marginal and average expenditures. Okay. So these are there in Pindyck and Rubenfeld chapter 10 in my edition. I don't know what will be your edition. Um, there is a footnote. Whatever edition it is in the chapter, there is a footnote where you will get the relation. Oh, just a minute. Just a minute. Huh? Call is coming repeatedly. Just a minute. Okay, so let me continue. Now, what is average expenditure? Average expenditure is very similar to our average revenue, marginal revenue concept. Okay, these are very similar. So, what average expenditure is nothing but this is the expenditure for the factors of production. Okay, so expenditure in that sense, expenditure for the factors of production. So for the average what is total expenditure? First of all, total expenditure means the total spending for a certain amount of factor of production. So if you are going to employ 10 units of a labor, 10 units of labor, and the wage rate is 50 rupees per unit, then the total expenditure is 50 into 10. Okay, so wage rate into the labor employed. This is the total expenditure for labor. Okay, so you can understand what is average expenditure. Average expenditure, by definition, total expenditure divided by the amount of labor employed. So it will be 50 into 10 divided by 10. That will be 50. That is, average expenditure is nothing but the wage rate. Okay, average expenditure is nothing but the wage rate. And the marginal expenditure is the change of total expenditure due to change in labor employment. So del PE divided by del L. Okay, so this is the definition of marginal expenditure. I am very sorry that I should use another slide where you can see that average expenditure is always less than marginal expenditure. Marginal expenditure is average expenditure plus something. Okay, so that is how marginal expenditure is always more, but I'm very sorry I have not done this. I will show it in my next class. Definitely I will show it. I have to show this. Actually I thought yesterday that I have to introduce it, but I forgot. uh, but for simplicity, as it is in the perfect competition, just a minute, give me 1 minute. I'm coming back with my book. Just a minute. Yes. Now I have pin drive. Yes, let me open it. Kiolo is trying to enter now. The class is going to get over. Then who is coming? 10.544. Just a minute. I should do this. I'm very sorry. Yes. Let me write here, huh? Yes. So where is my pen? Now I cannot find the pen. Yes. What is your total expenditure? Total expenditure is as I said, total expenditure is P into, that means the price of the commodity, into Q. Okay, this is the total. Look, this is very similar to the total revenue. So what is your average expenditure? Average expenditure is P. And what is the marginal expenditure? What is the marginal expenditure? Marginal expenditure, look what is happening. So marginal expenditure, as I said, it is the change in total expenditure due to change in the total quantity. Okay. Now for that, what it will be? P is a function of Q. We know in general P is a function of Q. If it is perfect competition, the thing is different. But otherwise, P is a function of Q. So if we differentiate total expenditure with respect to Q, then it will be P. Let me try to write. P P plus Q into del P. It's irritating. Del P del P del Q. Okay, so this is how you can get the marginal expenditure. Now look, okay, that will work. Now as it is a perfect competition, we are dealing with the perfect competition. So P is given to us. So P is not a function. So dpdq, that will be 0 in case of perfect competition. So marginal expenditure is equal to average expenditure. Okay, you get my point? In case of perfect competition, ME is equal to AE. This is true for the commodity market. This is true for the factor market as well. We are interested about the factor market. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So in perfect competition, we can say if it is a product market, then we can say under perfect competition, average expenditure is equal to marginal expenditure, that is equal to marginal that will be marginal expenditure, and which is equal to price if it is a product market. Okay, if it is a product market, then we can say in this way. Now if it is a factor market, if it is a labor market, as we have already said, that P will be replaced by W and Q will be replaced by L. Okay, so in case of perfectly competitive factor market, average expenditure is equal to marginal expenditure is equal to W. Is that okay? In case of perfectly competitive factor market, that P will be replaced by W. Is that
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
So this is why you are getting that second diagram. This is why you are getting the second diagram where the horizontal axis is written as marginal expenditure is equal to average expenditure, which is equal to 10. 10 is what? We are measuring the price. That means the price of that factor. Here fabric, here that year, fabric is the raw material. Okay, fabric is the raw material of your what can I say, of your clothing, right? So that Bhyuktikar. So that for 10, that 10 is the price of the raw material. Here the raw material is not considered as the wage, it may be some other product, anything, but it is the raw material. The wage is the 10 is the wage, which is equal to marginal expenditure is equal to average expenditure. So that will be the case only in case of perfect competition. And you have your normal demand curve for labor. Okay, so you are getting that intersection, you are getting the equilibrium, the supply curve margin. So what is the exact condition of the input market equilibrium? ME is equal to MRPL, right? We said that the equilibrium condition is MRPL is equal to W, but that should be MRPL is equal to ME. The W is equal to ME. So we can say that MRPL is equal to ME. Is that okay? Is that okay from this diagram?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now look, I will explain why it is so. Why it is so.
What is in the x-axis in previous diagram?
In the previous, oh, this one. In the first diagram,
Yes, ma'am.
and this is the price of fabric.
No,
This is
ma'am.
the market. No,
X-axis.
look. This is the market. The first one is, this commodity is same. The commodity is the raw material. But the first diagram is showing the industry or the market as a whole. And the second diagram is showing a particular firm of that market.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So it's just like the commodity. In the market, there is a normal demand curve and normal supply curve. but the price which is determined in that market is given to the particular firm, because they are price taker. They are supplier of the raw material, but they are price taker in the market. It is a perfectly competitive factor market. Okay, so that particular firm who is going to supply that factor is the price taker. So that is why 10 is given to him. And what is the significance of 10 to him? It is equal to ME is equal to AE. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. So the same thing, actually what we did initially, we did that farm in the first diagram and market in the second diagram, but here it is just opposite. Market coming first, and from there the price of the input, price of the raw material is determined, and which is given to all the existing suppliers. Okay, and for them ME is equal to A. In the next sem, when we will relax that assumption of perfect competition, we will go for the imperfect competition. You can see that ME is equal to not A. Look, this is not equal to actually. In general, ME is not equal to A. ME is what? ME is equal to P, that means your AE, plus something. Q is a positive because Q is the quantity produced, and del P del Q is what? Del P del P is the change in price due to change in quantity. And this is always positive. So that is why your ME is always greater than AE. But that anyway, that we will discuss in the next sem when we will relax the assumption of perfect competition. But here we have to stick in perfect competition. So now for us, that given wage or the given price of the input is equal to ME is equal to AE, and the supply curve for the firm is parallel to the horizontal axis. Joydeep, why now? Only 11 minutes left. Okay, so you have this diagram. Now look, I'm just going to introduce the labor supply curve. It has some typical feature, but why it is so, I will explain it in my next class, because it will take a bit time. Here what you can see, on the horizontal axis we are measuring hours of work per day. Okay, and on the vertical axis you are measuring the wage rate. Fine. Now look at the shape. Initially, when the wage is increasing, the hours of work per day is increasing. Quite natural. I am giving you more money, so you are encouraged to work more. Everyone is like this. Okay, generally, people are doing like this. I am getting more money, so I am interested to work for more hours. So that is why the supply curve is upward rising. But what happened after a certain level? After a certain level, if you are still increasing the wage, say after this level, if you are still increasing the wage, you can see the hour per day is falling. The supply of the labor is falling per day. That means initially, say the worker was working for 8 hours per day, but when wage is significantly high, the worker is going for 4 hours per day. He is not interested to work after 4 hours. He is reducing the working hour per day after a certain wage. Okay, so this is the typical feature of the labor. Why it is, definitely we will explain, but you can see that there are some people, you may know them, there are some people who maybe your friend, maybe your relative, when their wage is very high, when their salary is very high, they are very much reluctant, they are not interested to go to the office, they are not interested to work hard in that sense. They are very happy with their salary, they are thinking okay যা পাচ্ছি ঠিক আছে, আর একটু বেশি পেলে না একটু রিল্যাক্স করবো, is like that. They are thinking like this, that I should go for some relaxation, I will go for some entertainment for the rest of the day. Why? Because my wage is, I'm very happy with my wage. I'm thinking that my wage is very high. Now for me, that particular wage, that critical wage may be 1,000 rupees per day. For you, that may be 5,000 rupees per day. So For me, that backward bending labor supply will come after 1,000 rupees of wage. But for you, that backward bending portion will come when the wage rate is 5,000. So it varies. It varies. But if you go to the labor supply curve, we can say the labor supply curve is backward bending. Okay, it is backward bending after a certain wage rate. Okay. So I should stop here. Up to this point, I have to discuss. In the next class, I will do two things. First thing is what I forgot to do here. That means a relationship between. I will introduce another slide here. That will be good because you know my pen and my handwriting both are very good. So that thing was not so clear. That may not be clear to you. So I will introduce a very good slide here so that it will be clearly visible. And the second thing, I will explain the backward bending labor supply. And then I will consider the rent portion as well. Perfect competition in case of rent. So I need two classes. I need two more classes to finish my syllabus, and I think in February I can do that. Okay. So I am also very relaxed with your syllabus. If you have any query, you can ask.
Ma'am, where did you uploaded the checked, like our checked answer sheets in the LMS?
No, I have uploaded the marks. এগুলো পাওয়া যাচ্ছে না, visible নয়, আজ সকালেই করলাম।
No, ma'am.
Isn't it?
In which section? I was asking that. Like,
No, actually I don't know. It was there in the assignment. When I opened that assignment section, there I can view all of your. There are 37 uploaded answer scripts, so I can open all those. So I have checked. Actually I have started it from the Sunday, and today I have a score sheet. So from there I have just, there is a box, there is a box in front of me where I can write that full marks out of 20. তো আমি সেখানে সব লিখে দিলাম, লিখে দিয়ে আমি আপলোড অল করে দিলাম, কিন্তু সেগুলো তোমরা পেলে না, সেই মার্কস গুলো তোমরা পেলে না।
Ma'am, even I can't find it.
yes, ma'am. I can't find
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
আমি
Yes, ma'am.
সব আপলোড করলাম, তাহলে তা দাঁড়াও কি পাওনি মানে ওটা আপলোড হয়নি, তার মানে ওটার অন্য কোনো প্রসেস আছে। আমি ওটা দেখে জেনে তোমাদেরকে বলবো। হ্যাঁ, বাট আই ডিড দ্যাট। আমি জানি আজকে ক্লাসে তোমরা প্রশ্ন করবে, তো সেই জন্য আমি সব মার্কস লিক করে দিলাম।
Ma'am,
বলো।
ma'am, I could not upload my answer script. The size was too large. That's why I emailed it to you.
Yes, I received your.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, and let me ask the skilled persons of my college. They will definitely guide me, and I will again upload it in this way. I don't know how to show the scores to you. একটা বক্স ছিল, আমি সব বক্সে লিখে দিলাম। আর আমার কাছে এক্সেলটা আছে, বাই দা ওয়ে একটা এক্সেল ফর্ম আসছে যেখানে তোমরা কে কত নম্বর পেয়েছো সেই এক্সেল শিটটা, দ্যাট আই হ্যাভ ডাউনলোডেড। কিন্তু তোমরা কেন দেখতে পাচ্ছ না এটা কিন্তু আমি জানি না, এটা আমাকে জেনে বলতে হবে। আচ্ছা, আরেকটা জিনিস, I just want to know one thing from you. I am uploading all my classes, so is it updated to you? Last class of the everything was uploaded to you, na? Are you getting my last class? That means the last Tuesday's class in college LMS. Are you getting that in college LMS?
I'm checking right now, ma'am. Just
Yes, just check it because I'm trying to be very particular of uploading